Welcome in and happy Wednesday. This is your live chat for all things golf. We're going to talk about the Memorial, probably dive into the LIV field, answer the questions, talk about weather and ownership and everything else in between. This time is yours. Drop your questions and concerns and comments in the chat. I will get through as many as possible. Lots of stuff to go through today. So we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to jump right into it. Where we normally start these shows is with the weather forecast, because you get a lot of questions about it. If you do it at the start, you don't have to cover it every 5 minutes for the rest of the show. So here we go. Here's the weather station that I could find the closest to Muirfield Village. And it looks like they're going to get some rain shortly here. So this afternoon into this evening, there's going to be some storms. They're going to get about a half inch of rain. And then that's really going to cool things off, because yesterday was like 90 degrees. It was pretty steamy. That's going to cool things off for the rest of the week. 83 will be the high on Thursday, and then high 70s for the rest of the week. The real situation outside of just the temps is the wind here. And it looks like we're getting fairly predictable and actionable wind every single afternoon. You can see it here, right? In the morning, talking 5, 6, 7 miles an hour. As the afternoon turns into evening, you're getting those 13 to 18 mile an hour sustained winds. Obviously can gust more than that. Thursday, same thing. Friday afternoon, even windier, which will be a very sweaty cut. Now, here's the thing to remember here. This is only a 70-ish person field, right? It's a signature event. They are not doing what we would consider true waves, right? So I'll just pull up the leaderboard here so you can see the tee times. This is in Pacific time. So this is my time. Can I change that to Eastern time? I can. Okay. So you'll see they're going out 7:40 a.m. That's Davis Thompson. And there's not a natural, it's not like half the field's going out in the morning and half the field's going out in the afternoon. They're just going out every 10 minutes for all day long. So there's not a real AM, PM wave like we would see a lot of weeks. So you would think, however, that with, Davis Thompson going out early, some of these guys going out early, they're going to be able to score well before the wind kicks up. But you probably want to consider some of the guys who are going out later on, because you're probably going to have to play in the wind one way or another. So you'd rather play in the wind on Thursday afternoon than Friday afternoon, because Friday afternoon is probably going to be worse. So these guys that go out late on Thursday, assuming you're going to get an early tee time. Actually, do we have the round 2 tee times? We should, right? Round 2 tee times for those guys should be earlier. So now you're looking at these Friday morning guys. If you were trying to break ties with Alex Noren, Sam Burns, Tony Finau, Sahith, and Russell Henley, and then here you get to kind of the featured groups. You get Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas at 10 a.m. on Friday. Well, 10 a.m. on Friday is, well, it's actually not that good, because that's when you're going to start to get those winds creeping up. So really you want to be almost, I don't know if you're going to be able to avoid it on Friday, quite honestly, unless you go out at 8 or 9 or even 7, I guess, but you're still going to have to play 12 holes. Oh boy. So I'm wondering then, okay, so let's go back here. Thursday afternoon. Okay. So maybe the Thursday, it is a little bit later. So maybe the Thursday morning, like before 9 o'clock guys, might be a little bit better, but they're going to get the brunt end of it on Friday, but everybody's going to kind of get the brunt of it. That's assuming that this stays the same. So I think early Thursday, and then you hope for wind all day Friday that doesn't impact just a portion of the field. I think that's probably the path to go. You can load that into the custom model on rickrungood.com. I do have the AM PM stuff in there if you want it. So that is available to you. Okay. That's the weather situation. The one and done ownership situation is as follows. Heavily selected on Victor Hovland and Colin Morikawa. Victor's at 19%. Collins at 17. Patrick Cantlay is at 9. Nobody else over 5%. Okay. We're going to talk a lot about one and done, I'm sure, because we're starting a 3-event stretch with massive purses in every single one. And then you get Rory, Xander, Scotty, Hideki, Ludwig, Justin Thomas, and Wyndham Clark rounding out the top 10, but they're all between 3.5% and 5% owned. So pretty low owned there. I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that, but at least we have now covered wind, weather, and the one and done selection process. Let's get into your questions. John says, Max Homa is plus 105 against Sahith Theegala. What is up with all the disrespect on Homa and his good course history? Okay. Well, let me take you over to rickrungood.com. It's my website. You should check it all out. I imagine the disrespect on Max Homa is because he hasn't played very well and he's driving the ball very, very poorly, right? You know, look at his last 4 events. Harbortown, Quail Hollow, Valhalla, and Colonial. He lost strokes off the tee in all 3 of those. Usually a much better driver of the ball. Also, we're getting a little bit of bad putting. Actually, not too bad, but like 2 of his last 4, 2 of that 4 during that stretch he lost with the flat stick. Not very good results. You want to look at his course history. Let's do it. Actually, let's do his course history, not his tournament history. So we'll do Muirfield Village. He might have a work day. No, he didn't. Oh, yes, he did. He did play the work day here in 2020. Remember, there was 2 events back to back at Muirfield Village in 2020. One was the Workday Charity Open. One was the Memorial. If you search by course history, you get both of those. The course history is good the last 2 years. It's pretty sour the 3 starts prior to that. I am cautiously optimistic on Max Homa, but if he sprays it off the tee like this, he is in big, big trouble. So that's what I imagine the issue is. Hey, Rick, can you do a deep dive on Denny McCarthy? Yeah, let's get into it. So Denny McCarthy says, could he be a sneaky play when you are trailing in your league and want to make up points? I don't super love that. Let me just look through a couple of other. Yeah, here's going to be the problem. This is going to be a lot of golf course for Denny to handle, I think. We've got a lot of different proximity buckets, but basically everything over 125 yards or 150 yards, Denny is losing to the field. We already know he has a distance problem, and we know that he is super reliant on his putter, and we are seeing that routinely. If he can hit the ball well, like he did in San Antonio, he's got the ability to find the upside, but that's pretty few and far between. So I'm going to say this is not a great option. It's like a 4 out of 10 with 5 being average. Currently 3rd in my one and done. Absolutely love JT this week, but I almost feel forced to take Victor because of his high ownership. Thoughts? Yeah, listen, you're in 3rd. You don't need my opinion here, right? I think that if you wanted to just simply kind of look at the blueprint of how to play one and done, you should probably take Victor, right? I mean, you're in 3rd out of, I don't know how many people that is, but assuming it's more than 20, you're doing great. You're front running, and you're getting a guy who played well last week and has great history. I think that that's good enough. I'm pretty bullish on JT in general, right? So I think that you could use JT this week. You could use him next week. You could use him at the Travelers. You could use him in a playoff event. There is a little bit of more versatility to using Justin Thomas, in my opinion. So, I mean, either way, Scott, I think you're going to be fine, but I think that if you just laid out the options for me, you'd probably have to take Victor there. Andrew says, extremely random question. I know everyone thought it was dumb for LIV to do an event opposite of Phoenix this year, but what if they did an event or in the Super Bowl city every year? Did people think that was dumb? Listen, I was in Vegas for LIV Vegas in the Super Bowl. It was awesome. They should always, I mean, I know you're not going to get Vegas every year, which is sick, but you should always do that. If there's a reason that the Phoenix Open is always around the Super Bowl. What will be sick is every 5 years if they did this, you'd have Phoenix hosting the Phoenix Open, LIV Golf, and the Super Bowl in the same week, which would be fairly nuts. But yeah, listen, I mean, I think all golf tournaments need an identity. I think every PGA Tour event needs an identity. Most don't have it. And I think that LIV Golf events need an identity. And this would be a way to start building that identity. So yeah, sure. I'm with you, Andrew. Tubin sends a super chat, which is much appreciated, never required. It says, for one and done, I'm a dummy and I still have Scheffler. Should I use him here at the US Open or save him for the BMW Championship? Okay, so so let's think about this logically. What do we know? Scottie Scheffler's best player in the world. We know that. We all agree on that. If the options are use him here, use him at the US Open, or use him at the BMW, we have a lot more known entities this week. This is a smaller field, right? So a small field with a very generous cut. So there's a really good chance Scottie gets to play 4 rounds. That's what you want. When you're using Scottie Scheffler, you want 4 rounds. He has less golfers that he has to beat. Next week, he's getting a deeper and larger field. Even though Scottie will still be the favorite, that is a worse situation. We also know that Muirfield Village truly exaggerates his strengths from tee to green. Remember what he did here last year. He gained over 20 strokes from tee to green, lost 8.5 strokes putting, and still finished 3rd. The BMW Championship is going to a new course this year, right? I can't think of the name off the top of my head. It's going to, I forget, but that's a huge unknown, right? It will still be a small field, but it's an unknown, and we won't know how he's playing at that time. So you're talking about getting him in a known course that's great for him in a small field at a time that you know is really well for him. We're running out Scottie here. That's where I'm going here. This is an inside joke. If you get it, congratulations. It says, can we do a deep dive on producer Josh's mother? I'm torn between her and Cantlay. LOL. I'm actually torn between Vic and Colin. Do either of them have better courses remaining? Good question. What has Colin done at Travelers? TPC River Highlands. He's a loser there. Here are some of his good ones. TPC Twin Cities. I don't know if he's going to play that, and you probably don't want to use him there. Detroit Golf Club, he's been good. Might not want to use him there. That's a smaller field. If you're going to use, or a smaller purse, if you're going to play Colin at a big, if you want to play him at a big boy event, what about Southwind? Southwind might be okay. But I think both these guys are kind of running out of places to play him, right? Here, you might not even play him in a major championship because you might play your live guys as well. So it's either here or the Travelers. Let's see has Victor played the Travelers? I feel like he had to have, right? Yeah, he's played it well 3 times. 54th, 11th, 29th. The problem is I don't think either of them have great spots left, but to answer your question, I think it would be you roll out Colin here, Victor at the Travelers, 2 live guys at the remaining majors, get to the playoffs and see what happens. That would be my probable suggestions. Hey, Rick, I'm going to be at the Memorial on Friday. It's my first event. Any tips for a first timer? So I think there's kind of 2 ways to take this in. If you're like me and you want to see a lot of different guys, start at like the 9th green and walk backwards. 9th tee, 8th green, 8th tee, 7th green, 7th tee, so on and so on. You do not want to be going in the same direction as everybody else. That's silly. You'll never be able to see anything. If you want to just chill, and I don't know Muirfield Village well enough as a spectator, find a spot where you can see multiple holes. You also don't want to see golf balls going away from you. You want to see golf balls coming at you. When people post up on tee boxes all day, I don't get that. You're watching them hit 300-yard shots away from you. There's nothing, you can't even see anything. It's not worth anything. I like posting up by greens, watching shots come in. You get to see pitches, chips, putts, whatever, spin, all that stuff. Those would be my suggestions. Top 5 and 1 and done. Go with Vic this week or look for Colin Aberg, Ludwig Oberg, or Patrick Cantlay. If you're top 5, they're all great options, right? But you're probably playing Victor here. Does everyone tend to overthink models? Yes. We know this is a fantasy game and tee to green on paper. So why not just model with 80 on tee to green, last 36 and 20 on fantasy points? Yeah, you could do that, right? So let's just do it, right? Custom model. What do you want? 80 on tee to green. So we'll do we'll do like last 24, right? So we'll do 25 off the tee, 25 approach, 25 around the green, and then we'll put our last 25 on fantasy points or fantasy points gained. Either one would be fine. Scotty Scheffler's number 1 in 3 of those categories and number 2 in another one. Xander, Hideki, Rory, Siwoo Kim, Justin Thomas, Alex Noren, Davis Thompson, Colin Morikawa, and Ludwig Oberg is Austin's model. Which pair would you like? Glover and English, or Tom Kim and Hoagie? Kim and Hoagie, but I'm not excited about either one of those. I'm actually excited for Tom Kim kind of more long-term than necessarily this week. I don't know about this week, but I do think he's kind of getting into it. If you're looking to make a punt play to make the cut, would you be okay landing on Svensson, making his last 8 cuts, or is there anyone else around him you would rather take it more upside? Well, if you only care about them making the cut, I don't know why we care about upside so much. Where is Svensson? Okay, he's here. $6,600. He's pretty far down the board. He's got those made cuts, but they're mostly just like T24 to T51 type stuff. I mean, I think Davis Thompson. And I also think that he's going out, by himself in probably the best conditions on Thursday morning. That should go a long way. I believe he also, don't quote me on this, but I believe he also got in through final qualifying for the US Open. So probably playing pretty confident, pretty well this week. That was on Tuesday. Oh God, what day is it? Wednesday? That was on Monday, I guess. The longest day in golf, I think, was Monday. My goodness. I don't remember what day. So that would be my preference for somebody to make the cut. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Honorable mention, Lee Hodges. Honorable mention, that's probably it. Austin Eckroat, but I think I'm okay there. Can you please give ownership range of 1 to 2 pivots in each range? Okay, so let's do this. Here is the updated ownership projections, right? These come into rickrungood.com. Victor Hovland is kind of in a tricky spot here for DFS purposes. So there's a lot of ownership on Scotty, Rory, and Xander. You can't play one of those and Victor. And because you have Colin Morikawa, who's pretty popular at 17% in the 9K range, Victor is the odd man out, shockingly. So that is 10.4% in the 10K range. Every other golfer in the 10K range is at least twice that. Scotty Scheffler projected it at 3 times that. The 9K range is pretty even. Cantlay would be your pivot, and the argument would be, good course history, not playing great, not playing to Cantlay standards, not playing horrible, but obviously great record around here. The 8K range, Russell Henley's at like 14%. Corey Connors is at 14%. Those are the 2 big ones. Jordan Spieth at 8.8% has a great record here, has been driving it beautifully. So that's about half that. Would be interesting. Alex Noren, I realize Alex Noren burned a lot of people last week, but he's still in the midst of having one of the best 2024s of anybody. And you see what's going to happen here, right? This gradual uptick in ownership, up. He finally gets to 22%, one of the largest ownerships he's had in a non-alternate field event, and he misses the cut, burns everybody, and now he's going to end up being 9%. Like that's probably unacceptable. 7K range, you're getting a little bit of love on Finau, Sepp Straka, Siwoo Kim. Those are the triple digit guys. Or double digit guys, excuse me. I know they're not huge pivots, but like I prefer Horschel and Zalatoris in a lot of spots. I think that's my favorite. There's not a ton of pivots in that range. I think those are my favorites. The 6K range, Davis Thompson's at 8%. That's like the highest. I would not mind, like I said, going Lee Hodges. I wouldn't mind going Austin Eckroat or even Thomas Dietrich, 6,800. Can you take a look at Fitzpatrick and size him up? Yeah, I don't think it's going to be great. Let's check. Let's check the tapes. Missed the cut at the PGA Championship, lost with the putter. Has now lost 5 strokes putting in his last 2 measured starts. That's over 6 rounds. That's not great. Harbor Town was okay. Masters was okay. Valero and Players were much better. Not driving it as well, not hitting his second shots as well. Around the green game has struggled a little bit. I mean, this is a down stretch here for Fitzpatrick. And if we look at his season-long stats, he is pretty good in some of the longer proximities, not very good in some of those middle proximities. Just kind of looking through some of the other stuff here. Accurate and long, which is nice, or accurate and long enough. But I don't know if this is very exciting. In your opinion, let's use stats and data. Best player to not win a PGA event ever or this year? This year's got to be like Ludwig, which is, well, I guess Ludwig won. Well, he won RSM. What about Colin? I'm not sure I understand that question. I'm way out of cash and one and done, probably because I haven't used Scotty. Is there attorney left to use it? Well, you should just use him now then, right? Because last time I checked, there's only like 25% of leagues of people have Scotty available. So it doesn't even matter if you're out of it now. Just use Scotty. It's $4 million up front. Oh, that's another thing. Remember when I was making the case on should you use Scotty this week, US Open, or next week? This will be the biggest first place. Okay. It's 4 million. It's not 3.6. And we don't know what the US Open is going to do yet, but it's not going to be 4 million to the winner, I don't think. Rick, I'm doing a one and done with a buddy. He's insisting on Sung Jae Im. Can you tell me a reason why I shouldn't hate it? Well, I mean, I like Sung Jae and I like the way he's trending, but why are we using Sung Jae in an event with a $20 million purse? I like the way he's playing. It feels the stat profile is great. His results are fine. I just don't think there's any reason to play Sung Jae when you have, I mean, unless you are really decimated, if you have used like the top 8 favorites in this field, you can use Sung Jae. If you have not, you should probably use one of them. Hey, Rick, I want to stack Scotty, Henley, and Victor in a lineup, but then obviously have to dip into the 6K range from there. Who do you think? Okay, so talked about this a little bit here. Where'd my cheat sheet go? Talked about this a little bit. I'm buying Nick Dunlap, kind of getting his feet underneath him. He's $6,300. Seamus Power, I think, is playing better and qualified for the US Open, and we're starting to see signs. But for me, it's pretty solidly like Davis Thompson, Lee Hodges, even Taylor Pendrith and Austin Eckroat would be like my favorite there. Given the expected tough conditions, what are some guys we can expect to grind it out? So yeah, so I kind of did a little bit of this on Monday, and I think I did it in my newsletter too. rickrungood.com/newsletter. This week's is called Milkshakes on Me, which actually technically that is an emoji for boba tea, but I'm just kind of doing the best that I can. I think that I did a hard golf courses list. I did. So these are the best players on difficult golf courses. Is that right? Yes. Okay. So you get a couple surprises, or a couple of not surprises. Scotty Scheffler's 1, Rory McIlroy's 3, Jordan Spieth is 2, Colin Morikawa is 4, Patrick Cantlay is 5, Jason Day is 6, Victor Hovland, Tony Finau, Xander Schauffele, Justin Rose, Will Zalatoris, Hideki Matsuyama. That is on hard golf courses. Okay. That list of golfers have crushed Muirfield Village. So I really do like this crossover here. So I actually listed it out. Those 12 golfers have played Muirfield Village 103 times. They have 6 wins and 34 top 10s from those 12 guys alone. It's pretty remarkable. So I do like that as a correlator. So yeah, go and check that out. Also, subscribe to my newsletter. It's 100% free. Would lineups with Scotty and all low 8 and 7K guys while skipping the 9 and 6 be different? Why is nobody talking about Brian Harmon? Okay, so let's look at this. So if we look at the projected ownership, we can kind of get an idea. So Scotty and So nobody in the 9, nobody in the 6. So the 9s don't have a ton of ownership in them. It's pretty spread out. Nobody over 17%. Skipping the 6s is always kind of, if you did that and then did not play Connors or Russell Henley, you'd probably be different enough for me. Do you have a video showing Tiger's strokes gained during his prime? No, but I mean, I could just show you right now if you're interested. Now, remember though, the problem is, Philip, Tiger's real prime, that 2000, 2001 stretch, is not in the ShotLink era. So we don't have like the breakdown for that. But if you go back to like some of these, here's 2012. It's like stupid good. Here's 2009, where he's just gaining everywhere constantly. Here's 2007. Just like, I mean, gained 17 strokes ball striking at the 2007 WGC work day. It's actually it was called something different back then, but that's its most recent name. Gained 18 strokes ball striking, gained 16 strokes ball striking. This is all the ShotLink data that we have available on Tiger. So it goes back to 2004, but it's silly. And then you go back to his 2000 run. I mean, plus 23, plus 20, plus 29, plus 20, plus 20, plus 20. I mean, these are things that no one has approached, and he's doing it kind of regularly. So pretty silly stuff here. What did the data show about Corey Connors' fit last week? I thought last week was an absolute hard fit for him, and he got bailed out. I mean, maybe I was wrong, but he got bailed out by basically the best putting week of his career. So I'm usually happy to take L's, but I don't know if I'm going to take an L from a guy having his best putting week of his career by like 2 full strokes, right? Like I'm not sure I'm ready to take that L. But yeah, I mean, I think this might be a little bit better for him. Excuse me. You get the accuracy advantage. He's pretty good from a lot of different proximities, which are going to be tested a lot this week. He doesn't have the burden of being a Canadian in Canada, all that stuff. So I don't know. I think there's enough to be like mildly interested in Corey Connors. I've got a few lineups similar to the strategy you're doing. I'd say it's okay to do some fire lineups like that, but don't sell and do. I don't know what that means. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe that was not addressed at me. Hey, Rick, I'm playing number 2 in July for the first time. Have a bet with a friend. Over under 90 from the tips. My handicap hovers between 4 and 6. What do you think? With all respect, Landon, I don't think there is a chance you break 90 from the tips there in July. I mean, do you hit the ball 300 yards? Is your short game way better than that of a 5 handicap? If the answer to both of those is no, I think you're going to get smashed. And that falls for me too. Like I'm a 5 and I do not hit it 300 yards and I do not have a very good short game. And I don't think there is a chance I'm playing 90. I'm breaking 90 from the tips. Counting every shot, no, I think you're going to get smoked, brother. It's going to be a hell of a time though. How do you find horses for courses on the Rick Run Good site? I guess there's a couple ways to do it. You could go to the Holy Grail. You could go to, well, you could just do it this way. You could just choose which seasons that you want or which years that you want. You could go to the course, type in Muirfield Village, make sure that you get all of them, hold control to select multiple. And then this will update and tell you Patrick Cantlay, 2.5 strokes gained over 32 rounds, Scotty Scheffler, Colin Morikawa, etc. You could also just go to course horses and just see it here. Kind of the same thing. I just make it a little bit easier for you, but the Holy Grail would be a pretty decent spot to do it. Oh, perfect timing, Steven. Steven says, I have a ton of Underdog promo funds to burn through. Given the course setup and conditions, can you maybe give an opinion on which way you lean on certain stats? Yes. So there's also something else going on Underdog. And I just saw this email. I just got this note. This is wild. Okay. So you can now do pick eights. So you can now pick up to 8 legs here, 8 picks, which can get you up to 325x on your money. Now, I mean, I don't know if I'm in the business of making a ton of like pick 8 lineups, but listen, I like the fun. I don't do this for a living, right? Like I recreationally have fun. Now that we're in NHL playoffs and we're in NBA playoffs, like I like to do this. Like this is kind of fun. You can double flex these. So I'll show you, and we'll enter the underdog portion of the show. That's my wife barking like a crazy person, but that's what we've gotten into. So just to show you this, so I saw the matchups are here, the rivals. So just to show you how this works. So if you just grab 8, whoops. So that is an 80x, right? So that is 100 to return 8,000. Now the way they do this is they're all flex plays. So if you get 8 right, it's 80. 7 right will get you 300. 6 right gets you your money back there. Now you can also scorch these, and you can always go cross. Let me zoom out a little bit. You can always go cross sport, and you can always go cross, type, right? So I could say, okay, also I think Rory is going to finish inside the top 5. Okay, I've got a scorcher in there, and I could do double scorcher. So I could say, okay, Sung Jae is going to be. Oh, I have a rival against Sung Jae. Do I have a rival against? No, there we go. A rival against Xander. So I could scorch Xander and say he's going to be round 1 leaderboard position. Well, now I'm up to 225x. And depending on what I select here, I can probably get this even higher. There you go. There's the 325 that you're getting to. So this is a very good innovation. It is very fun. I like this. I like to mess around, right? I like to stack up my golf ones with, my NBA ones and all that fun stuff. So, all right. So let's clear these out and talk about kind of what I was looking at here. So just going through through the rival. So these are essentially just head-to-head matchups for round number 1. I think tee time, you can see they're not all the same tee time, right? So you're getting, 15 minutes, a little bit different. Some of these guys are playing later than others, but I would be looking for something like Justin Thomas over Jordan Spieth, right? I think JT's coming in a really good spot. Ludwig over Wyndham Clark. Ludwig's game should be absolutely perfect here. Wyndham's all over the place and over 18 holes. I'm not sure I am willing to battle that. I mentioned liking Sung Jae and liking Tom Kim, but for the future. So Sung Jae over Tom Kim, I find quite interesting. Probably not going to touch Lowry and Fitzpatrick. If I'm going to touch Siwoo and Denny, it's going to be the Siwoo side. So these 4 together, and then I actually like both Straka and Rose, so I'm probably not going to touch that. So those 4 together would be a 10x return, right? You could either do the standard payout or the flex payout. When you go to the actual props here, or the projections, excuse me, so this is where I'm really looking at start time. So when you get to the afternoon, I think it is okay to pick on some of these strokes. So let's get a late tee time. There was a couple I saw down here. Where are you? Okay, this one. Homa higher than 71.5 strokes. He's going out at 1 p.m. He is going to go out in basically the thick of it. If you remember, this golf course is very hard. And look at this finishing stretch is Homa going out on 1? Oh, they're all going out on 1. Okay, perfect. So what you're going to get is you're going to get a situation in which he's going to have to play the hardest holes at the hardest time. Okay. And we're also going to do this for Friday as well, because Friday is going to be even windier. So the hardest holes at the hardest time for a guy who's already struggling to keep it in play, for a guy who's already struggling to kind of keep his game in order. Okay. That one jumped out at me. The other thing I want to keep an eye on is, I don't know if we're going to get it at any point this week, but we might get a projection for strokes through 16, 17, and 18, which I want to keep a very tight eye on. The other ones, Brian Harmon here, right? Brian Harmon to make 3.5 bogeys or worse, higher on that, right? There's just, again, there's bogeys everywhere. And he's in the afternoon. You're talking about only the par fives play under par. Guys aren't usually making bogeys on fives anyway. Okay. They're making them on the threes. They're making them on the fours. And all of those are going to play over par. And Brian Harman's going to have to go out in like the thick of it. So I'm kind of focusing on Thursday and probably on Friday, some hires on those afternoon tee times. Then if there is a guy that you like, so I'm already up. So with these 6 that I have in here, I'm already up to a 23x return on a flex. Then if there's somebody that you like, who's going to go out early, Scotty's going to get the advantage of going out early, and he's Scotty Scheffler. Like round 1 finishing position inside the top 5 of a 70-man field. It's not the favorite. In fact, he's a dog to do it. But if you like that, and there's a really strong case for it, now it takes you to 64x. And maybe you think, Xander, little bit of a hangover. He said that he probably didn't break 40 on his 9 today. If you don't think he's going to finish inside the top 10, which is, if he finishes T12, that's a pretty great week. You tack that on, it's a scorcher. You're up to 135x. I don't know. That's one way. You can obviously do this however you want, but I find this fun and interesting and trying to catch a little lightning in a bottle. There is an updated promo code. It's Rick. There's a link in the description. That'll get you up to a $250 deposit match, which is very cool. So I'll continue to show these out, but let's pick on some afternoon guys. Okay. Yes, it is time to unleash Scotty. Do we think a balanced build or stars and scrubs will be the winning lineup this week? I think that this week will be stars and scrubs. Yes, it's time to use Scotty. Hey, Rick, started off hot, but now need to make up some ground and one and done. Do you like Rory, Xander, or Ludwig? Thanks for your help. Ooh, this depends a lot, David, on your position. Depends on a lot of things. So like if I use so this is my Pool Genius. This is custom to me because I have all my league stuff in here. It knows who I've picked already. So like I've already used Rory. Who else do you have available? Xander or Ludwig? I don't have any of those guys left. Oh, yes, I do. I have Xander left, but he is actually, so look, Xander is actually 5th for me because he has a lot of future value remaining, right? He's going to have, you have 2 more majors for Xander. You have the Travelers, which he has won, the Scottish, in which he has won. You have the playoff events. So Xander has a lot of future value left. My best options are Colin Morikawa and Victor Hovland because they're great options this week, do not have a lot of future value left. So this is that tool that I have talked about plenty of times. I consulted on this tool. There's a link in the description to it that'll get you a discount. If you want to check it out, highly recommend it. It's a very good tool, and you plug all your information in and it gives you, tips based on how many people are in your league, what your current status is, and all that fun stuff. Non-memorial question. Have you used Arcos and would you recommend it? How accurate is it? And do you have any tips, suggestions? Yeah, I used Arcos for a long time. I do not use it anymore. It's not, I really enjoyed it. I liked it. The reason I stopped using it is because I got the +4 grips and the sensors did not fit on them as well. When I went back to standard grips, I was off the train. Also, the regular sensor does not fit my Super Stroke my Super Stroke. So I'd have to get like a special counterweight thing. And I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I do really like the concept. I never had a problem with it. It seemed to be quite accurate. I've been wanting to get back into it and I just haven't gotten around to making sure all my sensors are good and resyncing everything. I just haven't gotten around to that, but I did really enjoy it. I like going back and looking at my round afterwards. Is there even a 5% chance someone outside the top 25 in the OWGR wins this? Of course. Yeah. I mean, isn't Justin Thomas outside the top 25? Hey, Rick, what's your betting card look like this week? Okay. Don't bet what I bet just to bet it. But this is what I did. Go spend your money however you want. I always bet Victor Hovland. You guys know that. When he tees it up, I bet him. So that's on there. I don't even count that as part of anything else. I made a big bet on Scotty Scheffler at plus 410, and I made a medium bet on Justin Thomas at 35 to 1. That's it. When you bet Scotty big, it's really all you can do. I also bet Abraham Answer to win on LIV, which, by the way, to tell you why I'm thinking about that, you can go to the cheat sheet and you can load up any field for this week, right? There's a Corn Ferry field. There's a LIV field, a European Tour field. We've got a showdown slate in here. If you go to LIV and sort this, we're going to see a couple of things. One, this is their first time going to Houston. But it's the golf club of Houston. So there are guys who have played this on the PGA Tour because it hosted the Houston Open for like 15 or 16 years. Okay, so remember that. This is sorted by the last 36 rounds. 36 is a pretty long time. And this is across all tours. Neiman is 1. Louis Oosthuizen is 2. Bryson, Rahm. No surprises. Dean Burmeister, who's been awesome. Abraham Answer is the 6th best player on LIV. Better than Hatton, better than Gooch, better than Casey, better than Cam Smith, better than Brooks Koepka, better than everybody those other guys I named. Okay? If you look at Abraham's profile, it's sneaky, sneaky good. I don't think a lot of people realized he won in Hong Kong because he didn't play well in the final round. And it was on, if I remember correctly, it was like on in the middle of the night. Like, I don't know if anybody realized that. And he won. So now his last 5 starts on LIV are 5 straight top 12s with that win. The advanced metrics, even in Singapore, he didn't hit it all that well. Driving it great, hitting it well outside of everywhere but Singapore. The putter's been hot. If you look at, so again, we're going to wipe this and look at everything. So GC of Houston, he's played it once, right? Finished T8 in 2018. So he's got gains across the board in Houston, picks up 7.5 strokes to the field. He's playing some great golf right now. I'm in on Abraham Answer. If it was not Abraham Answer, I think Dean Burmeister's very interesting and underrated. I missed out. I was early and late on Dean Burmeister's win, which is annoying, but he's been awesome. He too just got through US Open qualifying. I mean, he finished T12 at the PGA. Dean Burmeister is like shredding right now. Okay. Straight shredding. The other thing to consider, so if you go to the Holy Grail and you do go and look up LIV Golf on GC of Houston, I will just caution you for a few things. A lot of these guys have played here, but they haven't played here in a long time. Okay. So like Sergio Garcia has 11 rounds in 1.4 strokes gained. Hasn't played here since 2016. Okay. Ian Poulter's won here. That was in 2018. All right. So remember that this does kind of date back pretty far for some of these guys. So while I think it's a nice thing to have, it is not my North Star, not the only thing I'm considering for this week, but those guys are playing really well. And then if you sort this by tee to green, you'll see, Bryson's up there, but I think Bryson will be a good potential US Open option, or I actually think Cam Smith is probably going to have a pretty good US Open. The Pinehurst is going to be really, really interesting on how the whole thing shakes out. Let me find my spot again. Between Malnati, oh boy, Perez, Knapp, Eckroat, Riley, Pavone, and Power, who has the clearest path to be in the top 30 of DK scoring? Eckroat and Power, I believe. Power ranked these milkshake flavors: chocolate, strawberry, cookies and cream, mint chocolate chip, cherries on top or not, obviously. Whipped cream and cherry. Come on. It's not rookie conversations. So the only place I've ever gotten cookies and cream from is Chick-fil-A, which it's just delightful. We just had one on Monday night in honor of the memorial. Just splendid stuff. I am a chocolate guy. Okay. So like go-to flavor, chocolate. Strawberry is pretty far down the list for me. And mint chocolate chip, I usually don't venture into. So I'm going to go chocolate, cookies and cream, mint chocolate chip, strawberry. I'm just here to find out Armina's pick. And then it says, is Ollie part Yorkshire Terrier? So first off, Armina is just beating me and everyone and done. She's crushing it. She picked Ryan Fox last week. Of course, he like touched the lead and finished inside the top 10. I asked her 30 minutes before the show started. I was like, oh, who's your pick for this week? She's like, I don't know yet. I'm just going to like feel it in the moment. And then she said, and he's probably going to finish inside the top 10. I was like, okay. It's like getting pretty confident there. So the moment is now. Armina, who's your pick? Sepp Straka is what she said. It's actually pretty good. I think I laughed at the Ryan Fox one. I don't know if I did, but that's pretty good.
And yes, Oliver's part Yorkie.
Oh yeah, Oliver is part Yorkie. Yeah, he's Dachshund Yorkie. So he's got a long body like a Dachshund. He's got short little legs like a Dachshund, and then he has like a Yorkie face. So we did the DNA test. He was like 50% long-haired Dachshund or wire-haired Dachshund, and then he was 25% like silky terrier and 25% Yorkshire Terrier, something like that. But yes, he looks like a Yorkie. He acts like a Yorkie. He's got that long body like a Dachshund. What's up with Hideki? Ownership has dropped to 3%. I just think people are terrified of him. It's raining in Dublin right now. I don't think you want my opinion on cash games, so I'm just going to skip that. What is the value of course experience at Muirfield? It seems like guys are making their first trip may struggle here. Yeah, that's interesting. So I think Gavin, I think it is important. And I also think it is kind of important post 2020, right? So remember they like redid this place in 2020 and like, resurfaced a lot of stuff. So if you just want to do, let's do the Memorial Field 21. So it's really only going to be 3 years, right? It's going to be 2021, 2022, 2023. I think this is probably a lot more telling. Scheffler's the best. Shock. 2 third-place finishes. Can't lay the second best, gaining 2.7 strokes. Zalatoris only has 4 rounds since then, 2.6. Homa, Colin. I mean, Colin withdrew. He was 2 shots back last year. Just crazy. So remember, if you're looking at Colin Morikawa and you're looking at tournament results, just results, you're not going to see what you like. If you're looking at Colin Morikawa course strokes gained, you're going to like it a lot more. Okay. Remember that. Are you going to add some Underdog tools to your website? Yes. I'm just admittedly in the middle of like 7 development projects, just juggling like crazy. There's going to be a small push to the website, hopefully today at some point, which is going to be a couple of small things. So I'm just in the middle of a ton of stuff right now. Is there a cut this week? Yes. Top 50 in ties. Anybody within 10 shots. I'm headed to Pinehurst. Are you going to be there? Free Pac-Man is a member of the YouTube channel. Thank you very much. No, I will not. This is very disappointing. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm pretty bummed about it. It's a situation where it's not a CBS event. And I guess it's, there's not going to be a camera setup, a stage setup, whatever from CBS. So that means I'm not going. I could have just been credentialed and gone myself. That's obviously not only expensive, but it's also can be weird. Like if you have to do it that way and you're not in the ecosystem of like the media hotel or the media center or whatever, which I guess I could be in the media center, but like, it's the same thing that we ran into in Rome, where if you're not able to get on the media shuttles and stuff like that, it makes it really difficult to get in and out of these places, because you need to be able to take your computer in there. You need to be able to get in and out at times before gates open and after gates close. So it's like, it's just a lot more hassle. So we decided against it. I'm just going to stay home, just be here in the studio, crack down on some data projects and stuff like that. But I am bummed about it. Thoughts on Jake Knapp? It's really weird. I would love somebody else to swoop in and be like, hey, do you want to work for us for a week and just be an analyst and blah, blah, blah. So if you know anybody, that'd be sick. Here's Jake Knapp. And admittedly, Pac-Man, I've never gotten this guy right. One time I did. I got him right at Torrey. I've never gotten him right since then. The good news is, he has been pretty darn good on approach, right? He's gained in 5 out of what is that? 5 out of 6. Now his overall metrics get hurt because he has some like really bad starts, right? So this one bad start at Wells Fargo basically wiped out 5 weeks worth of gains, which I don't, it models poorly. But I don't know. I'm not very excited about it. Okay. Talked about a lot of these guys, which is good. Which of these Ryder Cup alum do you like best for top 20? Shane, Rose, or Fitz? Rose. Rose is playing pretty well and plays well on great golf courses and has played well here. What's a great way to sort the data to reflect first round play? So this is the way that I do it. So you could do a couple things. You could go to the Holy Grail and you could fire up just round 1 stuff, right? Like who gets off to a hot start. This would be across all tours, right? Oh, okay. Let's see who gets off to hot starts. Well, the best players get off to hot starts. No surprise. Scotty, Xander, Rory, Cantlay. But now we're looking for guys that are like, oh, that's kind of an interesting name. That might not be, he might be like a little bit of an early specialist. Cam Young, Russell Henley, Corey Connors, Sung J M. These are guys that seem to play better. Keegan Bradley in round 1 than they do throughout the rest of the week. The other thing that I would do is I'd go to the power rankings, which is right here. I would go to stroke gain distribution. I would probably open this up to like 150 rounds or something like that, something big, and look at how often somebody gains 5 or more strokes to the field, because that's what you're going to have to do. So this is where Jake Knapp really shows up, right? Because he has like good round, absolutely miserable round, good round. He actually shows up a lot better in these types of metrics. How often is he gaining 5 or more strokes? Well, he's doing that the 4th most of anybody in this field. He's beating, he's beating a lot of his peers, honestly, in the frequency in which he gains strokes, but just when he loses them, he's going to lose them in a big way. So that's fine if you're betting a first round leader. Like, you don't care. You just care about what he's going to do in the next 18 holes. If he finishes 2nd or 52nd, it doesn't matter. You get the same return. So Knapp is kind of also an interesting first round leader as well, if you want to go really far down the board. I'm going to take a sip real quick. Hold on a second. Okay. I had a dream that someone was holding up a sign that said iceberg on it. It's Ludwig season. I had a dream once that I bet Keegan Bradley at 66-1 and he won. And then I woke up and he was 50-1 that week, and I bet him and he missed the cut. You don't want my opinion on small field cash lineup advice. We have talked about a lot of this, so that is good. I think we did Lee Hodges, but I saw a couple in a row there, so maybe I just mentioned him. Lee Hodges. I think he's got like 3 straight top 24s, doesn't he? Yeah, 24th, 12th, 12th. Metrics are very good, right? So 3 straight gaining on approach. He's gained like 11 strokes on approach in his last 2 starts. Putting is matching up with it, which is a distinct change. I do like to see this is a night and day change from, and it's not only a night and day change, but it kind of goes back to what he was doing earlier this year. So this is a pretty good sign. This is a golfer that is confident in his game, has it under control. Maybe I didn't show his stat profile before, so my bad on that. Real quick, is there any spots left? I'm going to refresh this. We got to fill this Memorial guarantee. Yeah. All right. There's like 60 spots left on Splash. Okay. This is completely guaranteed, $5,400. Somebody's going to win $810 off of 20. It's just tiers. You pick one golfer in each of 6 tiers, and you try to go deepest under par. Let's fill that so they continue to boost our listener league. The other thing is they love us, okay? And I can't blame them. They love the Run Good community at Splash. The big US Open contest is our contest, okay? So it is $25,000 guaranteed, $20 entry, and it is tiers. So somebody's going to win 2,500. It's a very flat payout structure. Go check that out. Go get involved. There's a link in the description. Get in. It's legal and regulated in like 41 states. It's very good. They keep adding new stuff. I like these guys. They like us, and they're doing a good thing. They bought Run Your Pool and Office Football Pool. It's that same company. They're doing a good job.
Can I play?
Yeah, of course you can. Probably win the whole thing.
Yeah,
Rick, I'm third in my one and done. Do I use Xander here or save him and use Colin? Or I think, Leighton, I'm just going to be real with you here. If you look at the data and you are trying to do this optimally, you have to play Colin or Victor here. They do not have a lot of future value. It's a big purse. They're both playing great. They're both have great history. Xander has a lot of future value. Now, not everything always goes optimally, but that's the thing. Hey, Rick, you and Nostradamina need to make videos of y'all trying pickleball and disc golf. Wow. We have been talking about pickleball. How'd you know that? How'd you know that, Bridget? There's actually a bunch of pickleball complex right nearby, and we've got to get over there. We just have not done it yet. JT is not out of the top 25? No, come on. I guess he's been playing better. What's he at? 23. Sorry. That's on me. That's on me. Do you watch F1 races? Yes, I've gotten into F1 this year. I've gotten into F1 and tennis this year. I watched the F1 races on like later though. So like I have the F1 app or whatever, the F1 thing. So I'll watch them later. First time ever asking a question during one of your live chats. What pairing do you like more? Scheffler and Henley or Schauffele and Morikawa? Really good question. Scheffler, Henley. Sick, right? Can I show you Henley? So just having a great year. Bunch of top 15s, has great success at signature events and difficult golf courses. The other thing is, if you had read my email, you would know that there is a very unique situation going on here with Muirfield Village. It is a combination of a long course and a course with small greens. Russell Henley does great on courses with small greens. He does okay on long courses, but great on small green golf courses. So I think we're rolling with Scheffler and Henley instead of, which by the way, in my total ranking, that would be like a 33. What would your other one be? Xander and Morikawa? That'd be like a 20. I still like Henley and Scheffler. Who is the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese of this field? And are you going with Iowa or LSU to win this event? What? I'm not really following the whole. I understand who those people are. I don't really know in what context this is. I have no idea. Okay. What are you doing with Spieth? I'm more bullish on Spieth than not. He's driving it awesome. He's driving it like as good as he's ever driven it. He is got a great history around here. I'm extremely worried about a lot of other things, specifically his approach play. I'm even worried about the putter, but that is part of the Jordan Spieth experience. I am like warming and positive on Jordan, but I'm terrified. Positive but terrified would be the statement. Matthew, couple back-to-back questions from Matthew Pavone. Oh boy. Well, the guy who was awesome all winter long, which by the way, rickrungood.com, 6 different golf tours with strokes gain metrics. So we know what he was doing in Europe. We know what he was doing on the PGA Tour. And then he kind of fell off the cliff. This is not a good sign. He lost 24 strokes to the field in his last 6 rounds. That's disastrous. Truly disastrous. So Going to have to take a wait and see approach it. Oliver, member, says, Senor. Victor about to run good at Jack's place? Yes. Yep. There was a question about like,
he's saying Mr. Run Good.
Oh, got it. Are people too bullish on Victor since it was just one good week? So yes and no, David. Yes, people are like freaking out because he gained strokes around the green. He finished third, but the ball striking has always been there, right? Like we didn't really lose the ball striking. So that's great news. So there's it's not like a complete turnaround. The only thing that we fixed was the short game. And because the short game came with, basically returning to Joe Mayo and getting that back on track, I think it is pretty safe to assume he's not going to lose 7 strokes around the green this week. It says, can we get an additional page on the website to show all of the producers' picks for the year? If you want to go back and grab them all, sure. But she's already planning on changing the name of the website to Mina Run Good. So I think we'll be there eventually. How do you balance data-driven decisions with gut feelings or intuition when applying your lineups to DFS? Mostly, so I'll do it like this. So a lot of it is bending to the data, but what I'll do is generally this. I will start here in the custom model and I will look through this field and I will say, okay, Scotty Scheffler is going to be 31% owned. Do I want more or less of Scotty Scheffler than the field? Maybe I want more. Okay. So I'm going to change my max ownership to 70%. Then I'll say, okay, Xander Schauffele, do I want more or less? And actually, what I would normally do is I would change all of this to like 10%. So I change everybody to like 10%. So I could have access to everybody. Then I say, okay, so Scotty, I want more. Xander, I want, I want the equal amount. I'm going to try to match the field, 23%. I don't want to take a stand on him. Oh, I'm going to try to fade Rory. So I'll put Rory at 15%. And then I'll kind of do this for key guys that I have leans on. Some guys I don't have leans on or takes on everybody. But I'm just trying to choose like, am I overweight or am I underweight? Am I trying to match the field? So then when I go to run lineups and I throw in a little bit of randomness, that's all being taken into account, right? So now I'm going to be overweight on Scotty. I'm going to be matching the field on Xander. So it's just a little bit of both, I guess is the answer. And that's the way I do it. So I ended up getting 49% of Scotty Scheffler, which is still going to be, over the field average. So good question, Mike. There's just, there's obviously a balance there. Oh yeah. No one's asked about Billy Horschel yet. Like I'm in on Billy, by the way. Best golf he's played probably since he won the FedEx Cup. Oh, I didn't mean to close out the custom model. Oh, well, I'll get back to it if I need to. Playing the best golf he has since winning the FedEx Cup. Good history around this place. Just seems to be in good spirits, in good form, all throughout the bag. Yeah, I think Billy's great. You mentioned Valhalla is the closest possible comp to Muirfield. So how much are you looking at those golfers who did well at the PGA Championship? Yeah, so I think I don't know if I said it was the closest comp or I just said it was Valhalla was the only other course that was in both top 5 longest and top 5 smallest greens, which is, yeah, same thing. Yeah, I think Dietrich's fine, right? I mean, I actually got to lay eyes a lot on Dietrich at Valhalla and I really enjoyed his game. And I'm not 100% surprised to see, you get a lot of these guys who have down weeks after major championships, especially when they're like, for him, T4 at the PGA Championship is like very much in the thick of it. So no surprise to see him kind of struggle a little bit at the Charles Schwab. Did make the cut. No worries. Whoops. Wrong button there. I think Dietrich's a fine option for this week. Why is it called Run Good? Do you run, Rick? I hate running. But run good is generally from like a poker or a gambling term, like, oh, you're running good or you're running bad. Like you have good luck, you have bad luck, or things are you're hot or you're not hot. And somebody said, everything goes right for you. You're Rick Run Good. And that's how we did it. I think you just have to play Victor. I mean, I know it's kind of like annoying, Matt. It's just, there are some situations in one and done where you have a lot of options. And there are some where if you want to do it the right way, you have few options. And unfortunately, this is a week where if you have Colin or Victor left, you probably have to play one of them, and you have to hope that you're going to get it right this week. It sucks, but that's kind of the thing you're going to have to do. I think I've played Victor in, every one and done that I had him available. I didn't have him available in all of them. If I didn't play Victor, I played either Colin, Scotty, or Xander, whoever I had available, but I basically started with Victor in every single one. Okay, we did a little bit of overtime there. That's cool. A couple minutes of overtime. I'm going to go eat lunch. I'm going to go see what's going on. And I'm encouraging you all to sign up for rickrungood.com. I'm encouraging you all to go fill the splash contests. Go sign up for Underdog. Send me your 8-leggers. See what you got. If you send me your 8-legger, I'll put it into. We'll ride together 325x, right? Like what do I care, right? Let's have some fun. And yeah, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you soon.